Welcome back, everyone. My name is Fire. I was really going to wait until tomorrow to make this video, but all these coins are really getting close to their breakout points. I think by then it could be too late. So for anyone that's going to be awake before CPI, you'll be watching the charts, you're going to be wanting to watch this video. Bitcoin. All right, here's our chart. So far, so good. I think when I made this last night, we were hanging around the swing low. I mentioned that we don't want to lose this bottom swing and we didn't want to lose this right swing. So right now, this pattern looks amazing. So keep in mind, we're probably before the morning going to test around here about 1113. I would expect a pretty strong wick down. It could be scary, but assuming you get that recover, you get that bid up, especially if you start clearing this 113, 114 level retest, I think you're in clear skies. So all eyes tomorrow. If you want to be a little bit more aggressive, you can try to trade this trend down here. A lot of the charts have it. But personally, I'm looking at the inverted head and shoulders. If you lose that swing low, probably bad. They might try to swing it if the market wants to be very angry and very grumpy, or if the CPI is just very bad, high inflation. We'll see. You can never really predict this one. I think the chart is telling us that we want to go higher though. Ethereum. So Ethereum's doing pretty well here. It was looking a little scary at the end of yesterday. I think we were challenging this breakdown over here. You got a little deviation, but if you zoom out here, look at the daily, chill out, and you can see we're doing fine. So we recovered pretty nicely. As of the hour, I'm recording this a little late. We've had a little bit of a pump here. We can zoom in here, just a nice recovery. Let me delete some of these day trading lines. But you're just zigzagging. And it makes sense. Like we keep saying, you don't want to break out of this before the CPI announcement. So around the morning time, hopefully what we're going to have is a little bit of chicanery. It's probably going to do something crazy. But if we get that breakout retest resumption, especially if you clear that 4,000 handle, I think you're going to be in really good shape. Aster. Okay, so this is a coin that I've been watching. A lot of the dinos that I have are just from cycles many years ago, and for better or for worse, some of those I think are going to have good gains, but in the new cycle, we're going to have new coins, new narratives, and I think anything you're going to long is going to be easy wins. There's something called easy mode, which I think we're getting into that right now. So it might look like I'm very smart and that my setups are working, but all I'm really doing is trying up arrows, and I'm not really doing anything too sophisticated, right? Taking a look at the swing lows and try to position off of those. But take a look at this coin here. Now, I'm not endorsing this coin. Don't know what it does. I think it's related to Binance, but this is one of my favorite setups. What you have here is a falling wedge. See that top trend line? And this bottom trend line? Another tool that I like to use is called the RSI. So if I add that here at the bottom, what you can do is look for something called divergence. Now, some people swear by this. I only see them a little bit easier, which is why I always just to chart them. But as you make lower lows, what you're doing on the RSI is making higher highs. So you got a nice little divergence between your price and your momentum indicators down here. Typically what that means is you're going to be bullish. But really quickly, coming back here to the 4-hour chart. So this is actually an active pattern. So I've got a setup here where you can probably still position if we're lucky and we get that really big whipsaw with CPI. You might get a big retest that looks like that. But as of now, we are closed outside of this trend line. You can enter on the close. The idea is to risk the wick down here and then just target some swing highs. First target might be the old swing high up here at about 240, but I think this is going to be an extended alt run. Let's see how far we can take it. ADA. So a lot of these charts are going to look pretty similar. I think DOT looks pretty similar as well. You've got the inverted head and shoulders, really still consolidating here. Let me get rid of this line down over here. I was expecting a little bit more strength on this first bounce, but we got that spank down. But as of now, we're holding these swing lows. We've got the inverted head and shoulders. I think we're still fine as long as we don't get too aggressive tomorrow on the downside and swing these lows. I think we're looking for upside. Dogecoin. Doge is consolidating, so still a whole lot of nothing. Our old lines are holding, so I would expect by tomorrow we're going to break out of this one. Again, keep in mind we're probably going to get some whipsaw, but you just got to wait. If you think you're going to be bullish, which I think we are, you can try to front run this a little bit. But ideally, what you're looking for is a breakout that looks like that. Solana. So Solana's holding up pretty well. You can see we are holding these higher lows over here. Let me actually clean up some of these lines just a little bit so it's not as cluttered. If I check the swing low over here, it looks like we did clear. That's always a great place to position. You see we got a really good first bounce over there. We have the daily imbalance over here to fill out. So I think we still got a little bit higher to go, if nothing else. But what we're looking for is just clearing some highs. We have the ball. The bulls are defending. So as long as we clear out some of these highs up here and just keep staircasing up, especially clearing that 200 psychological level, I think you're looking great. Then eventually you're going to clear off the trend line over here, continuing making higher highs, off into the sunset. Link. Link is more of a consolidation pattern. Nothing too crazy here. It's not very volatile. If you're wanting to perhaps accumulate, you can probably take a stab here right in the middle if you're bullish. If you want to swing the low, I don't really love the entry here, but if you do want to see if you can put your risk under here, I think you did sweep this August low, so that's typically a bullish sign that you held and you're closed above. But if you want to be patient, once again, you can probably get a better bit of a tighter risk level here by waiting for the breakout. Or if we do get a little bit of a whip down, maybe you're going to get one more test into support that would look like this. BNB. So this one worked pretty well. This is a pretty small time frame, do keep in mind, but we did have a nice little breakout retest resumption. If you remember from yesterday, we had this trend line down over here. What we did is we broke out, took that swing high, retested, resumption. So the entry pattern here is as you test the trend line, you see that there's a nice little black candle. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit so we can see it a little bit better. But as you hold and as you close and start confirming above that black line right there, your entry is that wick. Your stop loss is going to be the low. If you want to be a little bit more aggressive, you can put some stop losses a little bit lower. I might put it right here because those look a little bit too equal low for me. And hopefully we don't get too much whiplash with the CPI. But there you go. So I would say at least you can target this wick up here and then hold some runners for the all-time highs and beyond. Up next on the list is Dot. So Dot's holding pretty well. I really love this pattern here. What you have is a very big imbalance that I think is going to have something called a low liquidity resistance run. So assuming we don't lose any of these swing lows, I think we're just going to have an easy ride up. You know the old saying, easy come, easy go. Well, typically, there's not much liquidity here. You're going to zoom pretty quickly, you would think, if we clear some of these swing highs. So maybe you put your alert here at 32. And assuming you can start closing some of these candles, you're probably going to come here to test this upper trend line at about 460. Up next is eGold. So eGold still consolidating. You're getting very close to this breakout here. So hopefully the market is pleasant and it doesn't want to wick us out too much further. If we do get that breakout, I think you're looking at clear skies ahead. XLM is a little bit weaker. We are holding a little bit better from yesterday. If we go here to the daily, we can see a little bit of a grind up. So no big breakout yet. Our trend lines, I think, are still accurate here. We're going to be waiting for the trend line down here to break up and then eventually make some bigger moves on the way up. All right, everyone. So because I think we're getting into easy mode, I think I want to start something a little bit fun, a little bit different. Here I've got a portfolio on Gemini. I deposited around $500. I want to start a $500 to a $5 million challenge. Now, please don't copy me. I'm going to show you some real accounts and some real coins that I picked up here this morning. Keep in mind that I don't think we're in the breakout yet, but I think we're getting ready there. We could have one more big shakeout, maybe a week or two of downside. So that'll be a great opportunity to add some more. But what I think we're going to have here is a really great extended altcoin rally. We'll see how far it goes. Maybe it just gets really excited. It'll blow off top and we're done by the end of Christmas, but we'll see how it goes. For now, I went ahead and deposited about $500. The fees are terrible on this exchange. I'm not trying to market Gemini. In fact, I'm going to try to set up another account to transfer over there. But I'll show you what I picked up. So at the top here is my fiat, 0%. I'm fully allocated right now. Some of the charts we looked at, Litecoin, Doge, Tezos, Solana, and Link. I just went ahead and picked up those first five. Nothing too particular about those. In fact, I think Aster is probably the best setup. But for now, I just went ahead and sprinkled some allocation to each of these coins. They're pretty large caps. Nothing I can do, nothing you can do is going to move them. So I think it's a good base. I really like the Solana setup for the strength, Dogecoin for the meme allocation. Litecoin is just a nice utility coin, I think, overall. Tezos is a really old coin, but I think it's got a lot to recover. And then, of course, Chainlink down here. All right, so we'll check on this one periodically. I plan to DCA either weekly, every other week, and see if we can make any moves here. See how close we can get. All right, and there you have it, everyone. So I think we're getting pretty close here. The momentum is really itching to start getting here into the bullish territory. Presuming we can survive the CPI announcement in about 8 hours as the time of this recording, then I think we're going to be golden. So, you guys, stay safe out there, practice safe trading, and good luck. Cue dubstep.